Hello everyone. I hope everybody's doing fine. Uh, remember in 1918, Jesus supposedly visit the Watchtower and choose them as the pure language. This is what I was taught. And that it was happening into 1918. Okay, the Watchtower we're looking at is probably the past of Charles T. Russell and the Bible students when they used to worship, well, not worship, they teach that Jesus died on a cross, because there's a symbol on their watchtower right here. So these are the earlier publications or watchtowers that Charles T. Russell had them made up, because there's your cross with the crown with the wreath. Well, the reason I bring this out is because in 1918, when Jesus came, he knew the teaching and the doctrine of the watchtower. So that means if the one error or one flaw in the teaching, then Jesus wouldn't choose them to be the pure religion, or he would have had to tell them that, you need to change this or change that. So what kind of changes they had in 1918 when Jesus was supposed to visit the people in New York City? Oh my goodness. It was the same magazine, Watchtower, that Charles T. Russell had the time he put him on the press out to the people. Same front cover, and they was teaching this information. And there's you look like 3 crosses down on the tower. So that shows that Jesus died on the cross. I had a lot more to show you too. I'm going to jump around years. 1925, same magazine. No changes. So that tells you, did Jesus even talk to them? Did they even tell them that, hey, I didn't die on no cross? Why you got this on your front cover of your magazine? Good point to think about. 1930. 5 years later, after, guess what? No changes. 1931, Joseph Rutherford named a bunch of Bible students Jehovah's Witnesses, and the rest of the Bible students still take the same original name, Bible students, and that's what they are called today. So you got Bible students that was placed in these watchtowers, and you had Jehovah's Witnesses was placed in these watchtowers. So, what year was this? 1931. The same year they was called Bible students changed to Jehovah's Witnesses. And they were still celebrating and celebrating, in other words, they were still having Christmases and all of that till after 1931. That's when they changed everything on the watchtower cover. Now you see here the watchtower has a new look. There is no cross. with a crown with a wreath around it. What year was this done? After the year they had their name change. I don't call that coincidence at all. I think someone just flat out just wanted to change the religion around to the teaching what they used to have. And that was done by Judge Rutherford. Otherwise, if he wasn't in charge, because he was a lawyer, the Watchtower would still be looking like this. And that's what it would have been if Charles T. Russell was still alive. But Judge Rutherford wanted to change everything around. But what one change that he didn't change around? In the years 606, with the overthrow of Zechariah, the last king of Israel. So from Charles T. Russell's and his writing, 606 BCE is when Jerusalem was supposed to fall. So if Jerusalem was wrong when Charles T. Russell died in 1916, and 1918 is when they were supposed to have the pure religion, how come they're still teaching 606 BC when today it's 607 BC? When did the change? I have the answer for that. I know the year and the month and the date when 607 changed to 607. Was that a new light? Or maybe it was because somebody didn't like the way 606 look, but they thought 607 looks cooler than 606. 1942. That's when Judge Rutherford died. What they was teaching that year? 606 BC. That's when Jerusalem was supposed to fall. 1944. Now we're getting to the best part. March the 1st, 1944. What they were still teaching? 606 BC. That's when Solomon's temple was destroyed. Now the main thing is coming up next is the very important part of this video. Watchtower, the year is 1945. This is not the front cover. This is what somebody put together to separate the months. (1945) Watchtower. It took me a long time from January to October the 15th to go through every single magazine, the first in the 1508, Watchtowers. 1945, October the 15th, was the year that it changed from 606 to 607. When Jerusalem fell. This is a study issue. Let's get the second part of 3. And what does this mean for the Gentiles? Well, paragraph 3, it talks about in 1914, that was supposed to be when, in the autumn of which year the times of the Gentiles. Well, when you go down here, what year they have is 607 BC. So October the 15th of 1945 is when they change from 606 to 607 BC. This is the Jewish Virtual Library. Type that in and put .org. Here you find their history, all kinds of stuff you can find on their religion, their culture. Why this is important? Because it has the timeline for the history of the Jews. For the time when they left, well, actually when Abraham left his homeland to follow God's word, to live in the home that where the Jews were supposed to live. I went to a website that says the Jewish temples, the first temple of Solomon's temple. Give you an idea of a picture, but we're going to go down to this picture right here showing the temple. My camera's going crazy. We're going to go right across with okay, on the bottom picture, it's showing Solomon's temple. You go all the way across. And you'll find out the Babylonians, they destroyed the temple in 586 BC. There was no 607. There was no 606 when Solomon Temple was destroyed. And if you go down to here, actually it was a little bit further up. The second temple, however, meant the same faith as the first was, destroyed by the Romans 70 CE. So we know 70 CE was accurate. And from 70 CE, you go up, you see 586, not 607, not 606,